Welcome to the next video on part 3 of Unit 3, talking about slope of a line. In the coordinate plane, the slope of the line is the ratio of the change along the y-axis to the ratio of the change along the x-axis. So basically, there's a couple ways people have looked at it. Some people have said it's the rise over the run. Or you can say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So those are two ways to look at it and how to find the slope. So if I'm given 2 points and I want to find the slope, I can label x1 and y1, x2 and y2. So the slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it's negative 1 minus 6 over negative 1 minus negative 3. So it's negative 7 over 2. So that is the slope. So if you plot the points, so negative 3, negative 6 is down here, and negative 1 is right here. So if you look at it, you should go up. Sorry, negative 3, 6 is actually up here. Sorry, I did negative 3, negative 6. So there's the line. So notice you're going down 7 and to the right 2. And that matches negative 7 halves, because negative 7 means you go down 7 and then to the right 2. So the next one, x1, y1, x2, y2. So you have negative 3 minus 4 over 0 minus 0. So it's negative 7 over 0. Well, whenever you have 0 in the denominator, that means it's undefined. And if it's undefined, 0, 4 is right here. 0, negative 3 is right there. That means it's a vertical line if it's undefined. And then next, negative 2, negative 5, and 6, 2. So you go x1, y1, x2, y2. So you go 2 minus negative 5 and 6 minus negative 2. So it's 7 over 8. So that's your slope. So let's check it out by graphing it. So negative 2, negative 5 is down here. And 6, 2 is up there. So if you look, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you go up 7 and then to the right 8. And that gives you your slope. All right, so some things about slopes. For example, if you have a positive slope, it rises from right to left. If you have a negative slope, notice it falls from left to right. Zero slope means it's a horizontal line. And undefined slope means it's a vertical line. So if you look at number 4, it says, which is the graph of the line that has the slope of 4 and contains the point 1, 2? Well, notice the slope is positive, so it's going to rise from left to right. So that means B is out of it because it falls from left to right. Same with D. So of the choices of A and C, remember 4 over 1 means you go up 4 and to the right 1. So from 1, 2, if you go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1, that matches. Here, notice if you go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right one that does not. So it's A. Which is the graph of the line that has the slope of 0 and contains the point -3, -4. Well, remember, the slope of 0 is a horizontal line. So the only one that's a horizontal line is C. All right, so if you have parallel lines have the same slope. So anytime you have two parallel lines, you'll know the slope is the same. If you have perpendicular lines, then the slopes are what are called the opposite reciprocals. So for example, if the slope is 4, then the next slope would be -1/4. You take the reciprocal and you put the opposite sign. Whereas if they were parallel, the slopes would be the same. So this question number 6 says, what is the slope of MN? So you go y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you get -12 over 8, which reduces to -4/3. So that is the slope of MN. Now the line parallel to LMN also has the slope of -4/3, because remember, they're the same slope. Perpendicular to MN, it's the opposite reciprocal. So you flip -4/3, and then you have the opposite sign. So it's +3/4. So number 7 says to determine whether FG and HJ are parallel, perpendicular, or neither for the following points. So first you need to find the slope of FG. So you go y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it's 2 over -3. And then the slope of HJ is 3 minus 0 over 6 minus 5. So it's 3 over 1. Which is 3. So notice they're not the same, so it's not parallel, and they're not opposite reciprocals, so therefore it is neither. And then to graph the line, well, if I graph 1, -3 right here, and -2, -1, this is FG. And then, this is G, and then F. And then if you go HJ, so 5, 0, different color, 5 zeros there. 6, 3 is up here. So notice it goes like that. So notice it's not perpendicular because they're not opposite reciprocals, and then they're not parallel because they intersect. So let's look at number 8. So if you look at AB, the slope of AB is 5 minus -1 over 4 minus -2. So it's 6 over 6, which is 1. And then the slope of CD is -2 minus 1 over 9 minus 6. So it's -3 over 3, which is -1. Now they're not the same, so they're not parallel, but 1 and -1 are opposite reciprocals, so the lines are perpendicular. All right, so number 9 says graph the line that contains Q, 5, 1, and is parallel to MN. So 5, 1 is here. So that is Q. And MN is the slope is 1 minus 4 over 2 minus negative 2. So it's negative 3 over 4. So if it's parallel, that means it has the same slope. So if you start at 5, 1, and you go up 3, and to the left 4, the next point would be 1, 4, and there is the slope of the line. There's your line. Because remember, one of them has to be a negative direction. And notice, if you look, the line falls from left to right, and from here, from this point to Q, you go down 3 to the right 4. All right, let's try again. Try the next one. So it says graph the line that contains r to negative 1. So there's r. And is perpendicular to OP. Well, the slope of OP is 1 minus 6 over negative 3 minus 1. So it's negative 5 over negative 4, which is 5/4. The perpendicular slope would be negative 4/5. So that means you go down 4. Well, in this case, though, we're going to run out of room. So let's go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the next point. And we draw our line. There you go. All right, that concludes our video on slope. Next, we'll talk about equations of the lines. Have a good evening.